So here we are going to see how to derive the reduction formula for integral cos power nx dx, after which we deduce for the limit 0 to pi by 2 cos power nx dx. So the procedure is to start with the first part of the proof, integral cos power nx dx. So let us consider this integral cos power nx dx and denote this integral function by in. Why do we denote by in? I is for integral and n with respect to the index of the function. What is an index? Index is nothing but power that is there in the given trigonometric function with respect to the integral. So hence the power of the function is n for cos and n is called index. Therefore, we are going to denote this cos power x dx by in. So step 1 is to consider the given integral function with respect to n as in. Step 2, we have to apply the parts method because we have to integrate it. So whenever we have to go for integration, we always look into it, the different methods available to solve integral. So here we see to it, to derive the reduction formula, we will be in a position to use only parts method, because what are the other different methods available in integration is going to be substitution method, which is not applicable, and other different methods of algebraic function obviously is not applicable. So hence we have to look into the method of parts, integral by parts method, to find the respective proof. So hence, to use the parts method, we have to express the function in product. That means we must have the given integral in the product of two function, which is split up into two function. But here we have only one function, that is cos power n only. So to bring into the product of two function, only then we can apply the parts rule. What are we going to do now? So we are going to just add 1 and subtract 1 to the index n in the above integral. Why do we do so? Because in doing this way, we will be able to split this cos power n function into two parts, such that after having a two parts, we will go for parts method. So adding 1 and subtracting 1 to the index n in the above integral. So this will give us in is equal to integral cos power n, adding and subtracting. So let me put minus 1 plus 1 x dx. So this is step 2 in the derivation. Step 1, calling the given integral to find the reduction formula as in. Why it is in? Because it is an integral function denoted, because the integral function denoted by I, and because the integral carries a power n, which is index, we denote by in. After that, to apply the parts method, because any other method is not applicable in integration, only parts method can be used. So hence, to bring into the method of parts method, we are going to express this in integral in the product of two function. So to do so, we are going to add plus 1 minus 1 to the index in the above integral. So add 1 and subtract 1 to the index in the above integral. What is this going to give us? Cos n, first I put minus 1, then plus 1 x dx. So the next step is going to be in is equal to, I am going to pair the power. N minus as one function and cos power 1 as another function. So this cos power n minus 1 plus 1 can be splitted as cos power n minus 1x cos power 1x dx. So all this to express the given problem in the product of two function. And moreover, we see this splitting is not going to affect the original function, because minus 1 plus 1 we have introduced ourselves to express in the product form. So if minus 1 plus 1 gets cancelled, we get back the original function. So we know mathematically, whenever we are going to do any simplification, such that we take care the original function is not affected. And moreover, to bring into a product of two function, so we take care, we introduce -1 or we introduce +1, that is compensated with -1, or vice versa. So on doing so, we are able to split the original cos power n function, introducing -1 and +1 as cos power n minus 1x and cos power 1x. So what is cos power 1x? It is simply cos x. So this I can tell integral cos power n minus 1x, cos power 1 is nothing but cos x dx. This becomes my in. What is the next step? We have got the product of two functions, cos power n minus 1 into cos. Product of two functions. Therefore, I split the function into two parts, so that this function can be equivalent to integral u dv. We are able to make up the function into two parts, that is equivalent to the parts method integral u dv. That means the first function cos power n minus 1 will take it as u, and cos x dx will be taken as dv. So that integral u dv formula will be uv minus integral v du. So that means from u I have to find du, from dv we have to find v. Once all these values are found, we can substitute and we can get the next step. So because of this reason, as we have taken u is equal to cos power n minus 1x, what should be du? Du means differentiation of cos power n minus 1. So we know very well this function is actually equivalent to the polynomial expression x power n. So differentiation of x power n is nx power n minus 1. We go for the chain rule because the function is carrying the power. Whenever the function is carrying the power, the differentiation rule says first reduce the power applying the polynomial formula. So this cos power n minus 1x is nothing but treated with x power n standard form, whose formula x power n differentiation is nx power n minus 1. So now in the place of x I have cos, in the place of n I have n minus 1. So my du formula will be n. What is n? N minus 1. X, what is x? Cos function. Nx power n minus 1, that is n minus 1 minus 1 into x. So simply applying the polynomial formula. So just compare the standard formula with the function I have to differentiate. I understand in the place of x I have cos, in the place of the power n I have n minus 1. So purely substitute nx power n minus 1. N means the value is n minus 1. The place of x the function is cos n minus 1. The n is n minus 1 in bracket minus 1x. It doesn't stop. So now in turn, the next first the power is reduced using the polynomial x formula. Now we have to go for the actual function cos. Differentiation of cos x is minus sin x. Then x differentiation is dx. This is how we have to differentiate u. So put together, our du is nothing but minus n minus 1 cos, open the bracket, n minus 1 minus 1 minus 2x sin x dx. This is our du. Likewise, we have to find, so this completes the u. The next one, what is dv? dv is nothing but cos x dx. So always having in mind the parts method, function u is to be differentiated, the function dv is to be integrated. So now integral of dv is going to give us v. How? We know whenever the integral function, whenever we have to integrate the derivative function, the integral and derivative are reciprocated to be the reciprocal of each other. So obviously the integral of that function gives you the main function v. And integral of cos x is going to be sin x. So we got the value for du and v. Now we can go for substitution. What is the substitution? Our in is equal to, what is our in is equal to? We are going to use for this our formula uv minus integral v du, because this entire expression is equal to UDV form, where UDV is equal to UV minus integral V du. So hence I get in the next step U. What is U? Cos power n minus 1 x. What is V? Sin x minus integral V du. What is V? Sin x. What is du? We have found minus of n minus 1 cos power n minus 2x sin x dx. So substitution is done in this formula uv minus integral v du. Why should I have to substitute in this formula? Because this is a formula for the product of two functions by parts method. Why it is a product of two function? In the previous step we made our original function cos power n splitted into two parts such that one of the functions is said to be u, the other function is dv. So now let me simplify. So this will give us in is equal to cos power n minus 1x sin x, minus into minus will become plus. N minus 1 is a constant. Whenever we have a constant inside the integral, we must bring outside the integral. Sin into sin will be sin square x cos power n minus 2x dx. Next we see that we are going to apply the property of sin squared theta. We know the trigonometric identity sin squared x is equal to 1 minus cos square x. So to proceed further, in is equal to cos power n minus 1x sin x plus n minus 1 of. So we know sin square x is equal to 1 minus cos square x into cos power n minus 2x dx. So that we can simplify further. In is equal to cos power n minus 1x sin x plus n minus 1 of, open a bracket. So this will give us 1 into cos power n minus 2x minus cos square into cos power n minus 2x dx. So what we have done? We simply open the bracket 1 minus cos square x multiplied by cos power n minus 2. 1 into cos power n minus 2 is cos power n minus 2x, and cos square into cos power n minus 2 is cos square x into cos power n minus 2x. Everything is outside the derivative function dx. So this is what we have inside the integral. So what could be the next step? Now we are going to make in is equal to cos power n minus 1x sin x plus n minus 1 of, what is happening? Let me open the integral. Open the bracket, open the integral. So when I split the integral, because we know integration, the plus and minus of functions to be separated. So integral is going to be separated for this function in between, such that as it is separated, it comes along with the derivative function. So we have n minus 1 of integral cos power n minus 2x dx minus integral cos power 2 cos power n minus 2. So both are same cos function, so powers can be added, cos square plus n minus 2 x dx. So this completes the step where we have separated the integral. So now what is happening next? Now we see that in is equal to cos power n minus 1x sin x plus n minus 1 of, having a bracket with the previous step, integral cos power n minus 2x dx minus integral cos power 2 and 2 will get cancelled nx dx. So what is our next observation? So now we see, getting back to the problem, we have actually taken the integral cos power nx dx as in, such that I is for given integral with respect to the index n. So comparing this original function with this step, we understand integral cos power nx dx can be replaced by in, and as well cos power n minus 2x dx is also the same given original integral function, but the different index n minus 2. So this can be rewritten as in minus 2. So therefore, with this understanding, we'll have the next step. In is equal to cos power n minus 1x sin x plus n minus 1 of in minus 2. Instead of writing integral, we are allowed to replace by in minus 2. What is the reason? Because in our very first step, we have considered integral cos power n as in. So when cos power n is in, power is n, we put n. The power is n minus 2, we are going to put in minus 2. That is what we have done here. Minus this is in, the given expression. So what happens now? In is equal to cos power n minus 1x sin x plus, opening the bracket, n minus 1 n minus 2 plus into minus minus n minus 1 in. So simplification is over. What is the next point we can do about this? Left hand side also I have an in function, right hand side also I have an in integral. So whenever we see the same expression or quantity, we will be always able to merge together. So bring this in on the left hand side. So this will give us in the next step in plus of n minus 1 in equal to cos power n minus 1x sin x plus n minus 1 in minus 2. So now still more simplification. In, open the bracket, n into in minus in equal to our right hand side n minus 1x sin x plus n minus 1 into in minus 2. So what happens? In and in will get cancelled. So therefore we are left out with in is equal to cos power n minus 1x sin x plus n minus 1 of in minus 2. So now we are asked to find the reduction formula for cos power nx, where this cos power nx only denoted by in. So if I have to get the answer for cos power nx, it means I have to get the answer for in. Of this reason, let me get the value of in only, bringing the n on the other side. In is equal to cos power n minus 1x sin x plus n minus 1 of in minus 2, the whole divided by n. This completes the first part of the proof, which is going to be the reduction formula for the function cos power nx dx. So we have completed the first part of the derivation. Reduction formula for cos power nx dx is nothing but in equal to cos power n minus 1 x sin x plus n minus 1 in minus 2 divided by n. Now we have to go as per the question, deduce 0 to pi by 2 cos power nx dx. It is the same integral cos function only, but the limit carries the integral carries a limit. That means we are given a definite integral. So integral functions are same. The only thing is it carries a limit. That is why from the main derivation of the reduction formula, we are going to get the value. We are going to deduce. We are going to get the value for the expression for the limit 0 to pi by 2 cos power nx dx. So for this, what we are going to do is we proceed like this, reduction. So what do we have to deduce? We have to deduce for which function? Integral 0 to pi by 2 cos power nx dx. So obviously it is the main original function only. Whether it has got limit or not, it is all about one integral of cos function. So we know the integral of the cos function when we started the solution, we denoted by I. With respect to the index n, we denoted by in. So hence here too we can call the same. We can have the same. Consider In is equal to integral 0 to pi by 2 cos power nx dx. Now consider this function. So what do we know? Without the limit, my in answer is cos power n minus 1 sine plus n minus 1 in minus 2 by n. So hence this will give us in the next step. The answer of in is actually, for integral cos power n, we have derived as cos power n minus 1 x sin x plus n minus 1 in minus 2 divided by n. This is what we have derived in the previous step as answer for integral cos power n. For this answer, we are going to apply the limit 0 to pi by 2. So this is what. So the integral function answer will remain the same. Whatever the answer we have got it, we should apply the limit. This is what we are going to deduce and find out. So what could be the next step? In is equal to, because the denominator is single, we can separate the numerator as cos power n minus 1 x sin x by n plus n minus 1 in minus 2 by n for the limit 0 to pi by 2. Why do we do so? Because the denominator is a single function, we will be able to separate the numerator. After separating, we have to take care, we are going to apply the limit. To which part of the expression we have to apply the limit? Wherever we see the function. Only if we have a function, we will be able to apply the limit. So from these two expressions, the function is only x. So the function is present only in the first part. Whereas second part is going to be the constants. The constant integral in minus 2, or I can say there is no x function in the second part of the expression. So hence, we are going to use the limit only for the first part, and second part is removed separately. So this will give us in is equal to cos power n minus 1 x sin x by n. Because the function x is present, limits are allowed to substitute only for the function. We are having it separately, plus n minus 1 in minus 2 by n has no function x in it, so we cannot apply the limit. So now the next point, in is equal to, how to substitute the limit? In the place of x function, upper limit minus lower limit. So only in the place of x we have to substitute. So cos power n minus 1, upper limit is pi by 2 sin pi by 2 divided by n minus lower limit cos power n minus 1 0 sin 0 by n. So in the place of x, upper limit separately I have substituted, minus in the place of x, lower limit separately I have substituted, plus the second part of the function n minus 1 by n in minus 2. So what is the next step? Let me simplify. In is equal to, forget about the power for a y. What is cos pi by 2? Cos pi by 2 is 90 degree. Cos 90 degree answer is 0. Sin pi by 2, sin 90 degree is 1. So cos pi by 2 is answer is 0. 0 into 1 will become 0. So first term will not be present. Here cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. But sin 0 is 0. So again 1 into 0 will become 0. In that case, the first expression will not be present in the following step. So we will be left out in is equal to n minus 1 by n in minus 2. Yes. So the problem will come to an end provided if we know the value for in minus 2. Because in minus 2 still it is an unknown factor or expression. So to find in minus 2, what I am going to do? Put n is equal to n minus 2 in this in expression. So if I put in the place of n as n minus 2, I will be able to get the value of in minus 2. So hence I call this in expression as equation 1, and I say in the place of n, put n minus 2 in equation 1 to know the value of in minus 2. So when I do it, I get I in the place of n minus 2. In minus 2 equal to, both the side you put n is equal to n minus 2. In the place of n, we put n minus 2, then minus 1 by n minus 2, I n minus 2 minus 2. Simply, to find the value of in minus 2, we have to put in the place of n as n minus 2, so that we will be able to get the answer for in minus 2. So this will become in minus 2 is equal to, open the bracket, n minus 3 by n minus 2. N minus 2, open the bracket, minus 1, so minus 3 by in minus 2. I minus 2 will be in minus 4. So now what happens? We are in need of the value in minus 4. So where will I get the value of in minus 4? If I put n minus 4 in the place of n, I will get in minus 4 answer. So I get, put n is equal to n minus 4 again in equation 1. So we get in minus 4 is equal to n minus 4 minus 1 by n minus 4, in minus 4 minus 2. So what is my answer? In minus 4 is equal to n minus 5 by n minus 4, in minus 6. So when I substituted n is equal to n minus 2, I got the answer for in minus 2. So let me call this as equation 2. Now to find the value of n minus 4, I put n is equal to n minus 4. I got the answer for in minus 4. Let me call it as equation 3. So like that, I can find the value of in minus 6 by putting n is equal to n minus 6 in equation 1. So like this we can proceed. So finally I say substitute 2, equation 3, etc. in 1. Why? What is equation 1? In equals n minus 1 by n of in minus 2. What is the answer I got for in minus 2? N minus 3 by n minus 2, in minus 4. What is the answer I got for in minus 4? N minus 5 by n minus 4, in minus 6. Then I will get another answer for in minus 6. Like this, the expression will be continued. Till where? Wherever the n is going to be the final number, final value. So when I have to think about n to be the last value, till this expression will be extended. So that means, what is n? N is said to be an ordinary number. So we know an ordinary number is classified into two categories, an odd number or an even number. So my expression, the expansion will stop in such a place depending upon my n is going to be an even integer or n is going to be the odd integer. So therefore I say this is continued as long n to be my odd or even integer. So once I come to know what is the last number, this will complete our deduction part. So hence, with this understanding, we have to be so specific. When n is to be the odd integer, what is the corresponding in answer? When n is going to be the even integer, what is the respective answer? So for this reason, what are we going to do? Let me consider my case 1. What is case 1? If suppose n is a odd integer, what could be the respective last part to complete? So when n is to be the odd integer, what could be my last part of the expression or expansion? So to know about, get back to our function in, because this is the only possible basic expression where we proceeded up to the last term. Consider the in. Here in in, if n is going to be the odd number, what could be the corresponding integral function? Say, the first least n odd integer is 1. If I put n is equal to 1, this will become I1 is equal to 1 minus 1 by 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. It has no value. So, n cannot be 1 as a least positive odd integer. So then, to proceed further to find the last value in the expansion, let me go ahead with the next possible odd integer is 3. So in this expansion, if I put n is equal to 3, so what could be the corresponding integral? So we get I3 is equal to, so we see n minus 1, that 3 minus 1 by 3 I n minus 2, I 3 minus 2. So how do we get it? We simply put n is equal to 3 in our in expression, n minus 1 by n, I n minus 1. So substituting in this expression, we come to know for the least positive odd integer 3, we get I3 is equal to 3 minus 1 is 2 by 3 I1. Provided, what is I1? Getting back our integral. So we have taken, when we started the deduction part, we have taken in is equal to 0 to pi by 2 cos power nx dx. So also my in is equal to this integral. This is the original function. In this original function, let me put in the place of n as 1. So we have in is equal to integral 0 to pi by 2 cos power n value is 1x dx. So how do we get it? Because of my original integral function, in is equal to 0 to pi by 2 cos power nx dx. So in this place of n, we put 1 so that we arrive this expression. So now this will give us I1 is equal to integral 0 to pi by 2 cos x dx, where integral of cos x is sin x. Integral is done. So the limit 0 to pi by 2, using the definite integral sin pi by 2 upper limit minus lower limit. So this gives us sin pi by 2 is 1 and sin 0 is 0. So we have found the I1 value as 1. So where did we go in the previous part? We got I3 is equal to 2 by 3 I1. Because to know about the I1, we have found separately the I1 value. So now substituting I1 value in I3 is equal to 2 by 3 I1. So will give us I3 as 2 by 3 into 1. So let me call this expression where I have to find the last term can be taken as equation 2, and this I3 value, substituting I3 in equation, I cannot call 3, this should be say something called star. Substituting the I3 integral in star will give us in is equal to, what was our in is equal to? N minus 1 by n into n minus 3 by n minus 2 into n minus 5 by n minus 4, etc. N to be the last number, n to be the odd number, it will end up with the I3 whose value is 2 by 3 into 1. So we have deduced when it is going to be the n to be the odd integer. Now, what is the second part we should understand? The case 2. What is case 2? When n to be even. So exactly the same way. If n to be the even integer, again from the expression we should know where the last value in this integral function is going to end up. So for that reason, again getting back to the equation 1, where we have in is equal to n minus 1 by n in minus 2. So again here we have to see if n takes up the least even integer, what could be the corresponding expression. So n, the least integer, can take up the value 2. So if n is going to be 2, so we will find for n is equal to 2, in equation 1, I2 is equal to 2 minus 1 by 2, I2. So we have I2 is equal to 2 minus 1 by 2 into nothing but I2 minus 2. So how do we get it? Because our in expression is n minus 1 by n, in minus 2. In the place of 2 we put, in the place of n we put 2. So we have in is equal to n minus 1 by n, in minus 2. This is our equation 1. So in the place of 2 we have to in the place of n we have to substitute 2. So we get I2 is equal to 2 minus 1 by 2, I2 minus 2. So this will give us in the next step I2 is equal to 1 by 2 I0. I0. It's an integral function. So 2 minus 2 0, I0 has got some meaning in it. So how to find the I0 value? So we know also the in is equal to the integral original function 0 to pi by 2 cos power nx dx. In this place of n, put 0. Will give us I0 equal to integral 0 to pi by 2 cos power 0 x dx. So in this expression we have to put n is equal to 2 so that we obtain this one. So what is this equal to? Integral 0 to pi by 2 cos anything power 0 is 1. So cos power 0 becomes 1. 1 into dx is dx. So what is the integral of dx? It is x for the limit 0 to pi by 2. That becomes upper limit minus lower limit in the place of x. So my answer is pi by 2. Hence we got I0 is equal to pi by 2. So when I0 is pi by 2, so what is happening here? When I0 is pi by 2 implies our I2 is equal to 1 by 2 I0. That is I2 is equal to 1 by 2 into pi by 2. So this is what we got I2. Our I2 answer was half into I0. For this only we found the I0 value pi by 2. So substitute this I2 value over here. 1 by 2 is equal to I2 is equal to 1 by 2 into I0, where I0 answer is pi by 2. So hence this gives our I2 answer. So finally what happens? The final part, we are going to substitute this last integral where the expression is going to end up with I2. So we say substitute this I2 in the equation, star equation. Substitute I2 in this star equation. So this will give us in is equal to n minus 1 by n to n minus 3 by n minus 2 to n minus 5 by n minus 4, etc. It continues till the last expression where the last n value is supposed to end up with even integer. When it is an even integer, the respective integral value is going to be I2, whose I2 value is 1 by 2 into pi by 2. So this is going to be my end of the expression, and n is going to be the even integer. This is what we have deduced. Deduce means getting the value of the expression from the reduction formula integral cos power nx dx. So this completes our problem.